The movie began with a wealthy man named Sudeep who practicing his shooting skills. His partner came to discuss a business plan. In the next scene, we are introduced to a girl named Bindu, a micro-miniature artist experimenting with her creations. Suddenly, the electricity goes out. She tries to continue her work using the moonlight streaming through the window. At that moment, she notices a boy named Johnny staring at her from the rooftop of the opposite building. From there, he tries to help her by creating an instant light source, attempting to impress her. His friend, curious about his actions, reveals that Johnny has been trying to win Bindu's heart for 2 years without any positive response. Johnny expresses his deep affection for her and says he's willing to wait. In the following scene, the man from the beginning is seen hosting an anniversary party. During the event, he reveals his true intentions, to marry his wife only to seize all her property. In another scene, Bindu is shown working at a childcare organization. Her sister-in-law arrives and informs her about the CEO of Sudeep Construction, who donates money to charity every year. She suggests that Bindu approach him for financial support for her organization. Bindu waits outside his office while Sudeep is in a meeting. An employee informs him that a girl wants to meet him, but he initially declines. However, as the employee leaves, Sudeep accidentally catches a glimpse of Bindu and is captivated by her at first sight. He calls her in and listens eagerly as she explains her charity project. Moved by his feelings for her, Sudeep signs a check for 15 lakh. Bindu is overjoyed and surprised by the large donation. Sudeep's intention, however, is to get closer to her, so he expresses interest in being involved in the project. Within a few days, they begin working together. One day, Sudeep invites her to lunch, and Bindu agrees. During lunch, Sudeep tries to impress her by being kind and attentive, but to his dismay, she seems disinterested and is instead looking at Johnny. Curious and suspicious, Sudeep follows Johnny and discovers that he has been following Bindu everywhere. It becomes clear that Bindu also has feelings for Johnny, but struggles to express them. Enraged by this, Sudeep becomes determined to eliminate Johnny. A few days later, Bindu decides to confess her love to Johnny. She repeatedly tries calling him, unaware of the tragedy that has already occurred. The next day, she goes to Johnny's house and comes across a gathering in the middle of the road. Out of curiosity, she checks what's happening, only to find Johnny's dead body. Shocked and devastated, she stands frozen, unable to process the loss. 10 days later, a newly born fly is seen experiencing life among humans. It enters a large house, which turns out to be Sudeep's. As he prepares a cup of tea, the fly accidentally falls into the cup while he's stirring it. As it struggles, it locks eyes with Sudeep and suddenly experiences a flashback. It remembers Sudeep killing Johnny. It is revealed that Johnny's death wasn't an accident. Sudeep murdered him. Just before Sudeep sips the tea, the fly escapes in time. The fly lands on a box and sees a miniature that Bindu had gifted to Sudeep. Shocked, the fly flies away and arrives at Bindu's house. Bindu is getting ready to go out and helps her sister-in-law in the kitchen before leaving. Surprised, her sister-in-law asks why she's suddenly interested in helping. Sensing something is wrong, she questions Bindu, who finally opens up about Johnny. She confesses how much he misses him and regrets not expressing her love. Unbeknownst to them, the fly is secretly listening. Later, at Bindu's office, Sudeep arrives and tells her that Johnny isn't coming back, urging her to forget him. Hearing this, Bindu starts crying. Sudeep takes advantage of the moment to get close to her, but the fly intervenes, trying to foil his plans. In the next scene, Sudeep is in a steam bath with only his head exposed. The fly sees an opportunity and enters his nostril, causing him to jump and panic. As he moves around frantically, the steam machine slowly slides toward a sharp rod. A servant rushes to save him. When the fly lands on the servant's face, Sudeep attempts to kill it using a towel, accidentally running out of the room completely naked. Everyone stares at him in shock during a meeting. Later, Sudeep tells Bindu that he's going to Delhi to meet someone who might make a big donation. The team insists Bindu accompany him. The fly, overhearing the conversation, decides to torment him that night by constantly disturbing him and preventing him from sleeping. The next morning, Sudeep heads to the airport to catch a flight to Delhi when he got stuck in a traffic jam. Meanwhile, the fly began to disturb the traffic police officer, who started waving his hands to swat it away. Mistaking this for a signal, the cars began to move randomly, worsening the traffic situation. Despite the chaos, Sudeep managed to rent another car and continued toward the airport. However, whenever the fly passed in front of Sudeep's eyes, he lost focus and couldn't drive properly. As a result, his car collided with a truck. On the fogged-up window, the fly wrote, "I will kill you," terrifying Sudeep. Unable to continue his journey, he returned home sick. Bindu came to Sudeep's house to check on him. When the fly tried to get closer to her, she sprayed insect repellent, unintentionally harming it. Luckily, the fly recovered after being touched by rainwater. It then flew closer to Bindu. In the next scene, Bindu is seen crying because the locket gifted by Johnny had broken. Then, using her eye drops, the fly wrote on the wall, "I am Johnny." It was revealed that the fly was actually Johnny, reborn. Shocked, Bindu asked Johnny how he died. The fly marked Sudeep's photo with red ink to show that Sudeep had killed him to win Bindu's affection. Bindu and Johnny began planning their revenge against Sudeep. Bindu created a tiny mask and a pair of sharp gloves for Johnny. Though Sudeep tried to kill him with fly spray, it had no effect due to the mask. Johnny began making Sudeep's life miserable, sometimes by setting his blanket on fire. They tried several methods to kill him. One day, Johnny found a small cannon in Sudeep's house and informed Bindu. She then made a tiny basket for him to carry gunpowder, which he started loading into the cannon. But one day, a secretary stuffed a tissue into the cannon, blocking it and preventing Johnny from using it. To keep the fly out, Sudeep sealed his entire house with glass. Johnny couldn't enter anymore, so he informed Bindu. She went to Sudeep's house and unscrewed a window bolt, creating an entry point for Johnny. Later, when Sudeep tried to get close to Bindu, Johnny attacked him. Sudeep couldn't react in front of Bindu and instead sent her home. Terrified, he started searching for the fly. He was so afraid that he wore a helmet even during team meetings. He talked about the fly obsessively and used abusive language, making people think he had lost his mind. Then, the income tax department raided Sudeep's office. As he entered his hide-in locker to get the cash out of the locker, Johnny sat on the keyboard, pressing random buttons. Sudeep also began smashing keys in frustration. Eventually, too many wrong password attempts locked the entire system. When he tried to break the lock with a fire stick, Johnny distracted him again. Sudeep left the stick near the locker to chase the fly, and the resulting fire burned all the money inside to ashes. Unable to cope, Sudeep went to a tantric for help. The tantric took him to the spot where Johnny had been killed and told him that Johnny had returned as a fly to take revenge. He summoned 2 birds to kill the fly, but they failed. In the next scene, Sudeep watches his home's CCTV footage and sees Bindu unscrewing a window, letting the fly inside. Enraged, Sudeep brings Bindu to his house, locks her in, and demands that Johnny show himself. When Johnny appears, Sudeep tries to stomp on him, but Johnny stabs his leg with a needle. Sudeep then attempts to kill Johnny using a laser beam. As Johnny tries to escape, the tissue in the cannon's mouth falls off. As Sudeep moves to harm Bindu, Johnny charges at him with a needle. Sudeep uses a magnet to trap both the fly and the needle, then cuts off one of Johnny's wings with a shard of glass and stabs him with the needle. Bleeding, Johnny sees the cannon and quickly devises a plan. He explains it to Bindu, then begins applying gunpowder to his own body. As Sudeep raises a fire stick to attack Bindu, Johnny flies into the fire, sets himself ablaze, enters the cannon, and launches himself towards Sudeep. The fiery cannonball pierces Sudeep's chest and strikes a gas cylinder, causing a massive explosion. Sudeep dies in the blast, while Bindu escapes unharmed. In the end, Johnny successfully avenges his death, and the movie Maki concludes with justice served. Alright, that's a wrap for today. If you enjoyed the video, hit like, it really helps the channel. Leave a comment with your thoughts and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching and see you next time.